Alright, welcome back. This is lesson 3, adding and subtracting rational expressions. I have problems number 5 and 6. You can try practicing them yourselves. Remember, you got to find a common denominator, and you've got to try to simplify your fraction once you bring things together. So let's look at a common denominator for this one. I have to have all the pieces of my denominator, so I have a 2, and I like to put my x with my 2. So I have this 2, I have an x, and then I need an x plus 5. So I think building the common denominator is one of the easy pieces. I have all the parts, and I just got to write them together in one single denominator. It does come a little bit confusing if I have repeated pieces. I don't have that so far, but just keep that in mind that it is possible you might end up having to simplify a little bit because you have repeated pieces. Alright, to make this look like this, I need an x. So I'm going to multiply not just by x, but x over x. Because remember, that's just a fancy 1. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute that because it's easier than waiting and rewriting. So x times x is x squared, and x times 3 is 3x. Alright, plus, and then to make this look like this, so to make this look like this, I need two pieces. I need 2x plus 5 over 2x plus 5. So again, same thing over itself, that's just a fancy 1. This piece, although I wrote it a little high, should be multiplied down here. So I'm really just multiplying 2 times x plus 5 times this 1. So 2 times 2 x plus 5, which I could rewrite. I was just thinking I could rewrite that as 2x plus 10. I'm going to do that. So again, you can have work kind of all over the place. Just make sure I know where your final answer is. Alright, we can combine some like terms. So I've got x squared plus, this ends up being 5x plus 10. And I don't think this factors. I'm not thinking of anything that multiplies to give me 10 and adds to give me 5. So we'll just leave it the way that it is. 2x, x plus 5. If you want to state your restrictions, you can. At this point, I hope that you're good at that. It makes sense to you. So we'll just say that this is our final answer and move on to the next problem. Alright, let's look at problem number 6. Now this one is a little bit different. This one does not have a denominator here, so I'm going to have to think about its denominator is 1. Alright, so I'm going to come up with a common denominator. A common denominator will have denominators from both parts, but really I don't need this 1 to be here. I really just need a common denominator of 2x. So if I already have the common denominator and it matches, no change happens to the numerator. But here I need to multiply by 2x over 2x, so that here I get a minus 4x squared. Because 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Alright, now, I don't have this written correct, like in the correct order. I'm going to go ahead and move that around, and I actually think that I can simplify this a little bit. So I've got negative 4x squared plus 3x over 2x. And I have a greatest common factor of x that I can pull out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to have x times negative 4x plus 3. Now, everything within me, all over 2x, everything within me is screaming, you should have divided by negative x, but it really doesn't matter. But see, here I have an x on top. I factored it out. This times this. I know that there's addition happening in here, but these are being multiplied. So remember, I'm allowed to cancel over multiplication, so I'm going to be able to cancel out an x on top and an x on the bottom. So those do cancel out over multiplication. So I really end up with negative 4x plus 3 over 2, and you can simplify that down more if you want to. You can have negative 2x plus 3 halves or 1 1/2, or you want to leave that, that's fine. But one of these is our answer. Doesn't matter, as long as we simplified and canceled out that x. So this or this will work. Alright, so that's examples 5 and 6. I have 2 more examples for you. But try to practice some of these on your own as you go through. So you can start the video but then pause it and see how it goes.